Where? Where would we go? Damn, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, dog. Noble Employees Housing Building Platte. Penthouse basement. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did the poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? Medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it, why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my questions. I suppose it's possible. But highly unlikely we would have found a delivery system for it in the building like an inhaler. Right, an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kinds of symptoms. So all we're left with is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonia? Jung's collaboration statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup, the results were inconclusive. Jung was drinking from the same bottle, the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We'd have to conclude that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical and consistent with the police's theory of... So, why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0. David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude that he got them both from this bar. Better 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches the poison down here. Poison somewhere went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to the... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make the claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:30 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get the liquor from his bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonia, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. Ooh, what do you mean? This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security system, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor is all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Coder Security System. Why would David put a console from a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I'd never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not have installed hidden cameras in his own house. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminating the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Unlike David can press charges against us at this point, do it. Do you really need me to say it? For the purpose of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code and have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceiling. As you theorize, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system? Behind my hibernation station. False wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have hidden a system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me! He was brilliant. More than a little odd. Throwing a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see, I think. I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for protection? Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. Oh, wait, I can look at everything again. Per use. Liquor cabinet, the mystery hinges on. Police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can you make anything? Can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry. You're way underage, and aren't you 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, not a step, but a step ladder folds out. And it's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again ever. You're probably gonna lose those life savings. I'd hate to tell you. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No. But he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking. Since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was ploiding a fram. Don't be so sure, Adonia. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the events and its aftermath. Excuse me? Copenhagen, 1981. This is a random thing to say. 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with musculature of a world-class professional rugby player entered the global Danske Bank of Frederiksberg Land. He was explaining to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approached him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisting knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the subject to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: the man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene when suddenly his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee with desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kortzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had split personality disorder. And so great was the dispersion between his two halves that when they switched control, his physique changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and incapable of previous unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you just said was false? Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. Is it? I'm like, wait a minute. Check. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? You don't know? You never noticed the crack before? Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. How? David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? It's so interesting that it harbors on these little things. I get to take this in again. Interesting. So this is the original. It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get rid of it. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stage and the tiger. The stag and the tiger, I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than a robot. Alright, let's refocus here. Did that give me new stuff? No, just credits. Just chips. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed. Essentially, though bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. Get it open already. I cannot open this door. Why? It is a Tithys Basics Sturdicture. What, anti-hack feature in the... Anti-hack featured in the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonia. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father's last adjusted the settings here, he made it so the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. He made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this door is only I can open. It'll be a 6-character password, something combination of numbers and letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your lives that could revolve around 6-lettered words? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a coded word he knew I could only learn? Shit. It did not prepare me for this. Only I can learn? No dice. Could it be your birthday or his? If David set the password for something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. I have to actually try that now that it's been mentioned. My birthday is December 26th. But I don't know the year. As you said, Nadonia. No, he would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact. The day we met? I don't know. I gotta get back to... Didn't work either. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Nadonia. Dude, I'd have to fish through evidence forever. What the fuck? Term? No, it wouldn't be in terms. Or articles. David, what are you hiding from me? Unique. Shit. It's gotta be in here somewhere. Would it be crazy if it was the time he died? Spilt whiskey, water glass, talk screen, the Sarah's evaluation. I'm gonna have to save here just in case it goes forward. Because I have no clue on where to look for this. There's no... It didn't give me a lead or nothing. It can't be the same as the freaking code for the interview with luxury. You're probably renaming the android blood saving soldier. I don't think it'd be that. Sullivan's Peak? When was this made? No, nothing stands out. It wouldn't be something as dumb as the interview. I don't think. Stagnant World? No. Shit, I could be combing through some of these forever. Turning Solution, the Thesis? Coppers. No. Big Blue Painting. Would it be 11/25/58 again? But I feel like that would be dumb, right? Answered on you? I'm getting there. 11? There ain't no fucking way you do it again. Huh? I'm not. I can feel on the tip of my So it wasn't 11/25/58. I'm looking through everything here. See if there's anything else that correlates with anything. See, this is why I need a notepad, dude. CDCA, this wouldn't make any sense. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Something only I'd know. Something only Morgan would know. This is dumb to try, but I'm gonna try it. Morgan was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonia. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Word that only the two of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone just called me Morgan. But that's everyone. Didn't I try Adonia? A-D-O-N-A-I. I'm putting A-N-A. It's A-I, not I-A. I keep fucking it. I knew I thought I had it. My God. I'm so stupid. I literally typed it in just with the wrong letter. The last 2 letters backwards. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I sat here forever racking my brain trying different shit. Number combinations. It wasn't even numbers. Feel a bit out of character. David, you utilize so much cloak and dagger tech. God damn, dude. How the hell did I not get that? Literally, she's the only person that doesn't call me by my name. I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built his penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss one chance because of discovery technicality. I understand, but you need it to specify. My memory is flawless and I can play back visual sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particles. You mean you can smell? Better than any human and some canine. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me, almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone's visited here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, and half a ton Android and a secret phrase? If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the Mord to have a word with him. Or to have a word with him? Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage. I'd also settle for a note plain stated that he feared for his life. Ooh, I love this. It's like we're being watched. What am I doing? Okay, you search for video files. They'll probably be time-stamped and formatted. Hold on. The music's getting real weird. And I need to save. I love the imagery, by the way. Hold on, before anything. Okay, and boom. You've probably seen that. I just took a screenshot. Camera streamed live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent file, which has been going back 8 days. It was assessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could have got in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking? I've been trying to open the file from the moment I discovered them, Adonia, but they are encrypted. Damn it, David, you leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer. What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a sub-fauna, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercial valuable tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Assure had wrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonia, Can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time? And how much time would that be? I would estimate it would take 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how Symphonics encryption, it's still just a code that must be deciphered. When deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processing so long as the work requires is root. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. Huh? I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, you can take this show on the road, or do we have to rip the computer off the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encryption files and we'll work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. I still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face last second. But he didn't let me get this far. And computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds, holdings, and platinum bars. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine people would pay to steal David Assure's identity. Down here at the bottom binder, Noble's logo on the front, and the middle enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you've seen in period pieces. They're masking it in legal-esque, even as this table of contents, but basically, this is his employee contract. Employee contract! Not a light read. Hold on to this for me. Must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Is there anything else in here? Expecting an update copy of his will to show up. It's a possibility, isn't it? I suppose. Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. Widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries. There's something else. Your papers. That Evelyn Morgan's been given immediate and complete ownership of Android designated Sarah. Say it a few weeks back. He'd already made up his mind about it. Damn, he planned that. About all this. If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Damn. Sarah's papers. Tax-free transaction, fortunately. But why? Well, at least we got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. Or it should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Aww. As a collector's item, damn. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you're all under private technology and physical holdings, unless I had something like this. It's good that you do. That I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You could cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse properly. There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. An upcharge is a modifier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good at that, yeah? Damn, she was like, it's gonna be expensive. And she's like, never mind.